speaking to the mic directly.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, that's all good. We're ready to go.
Yo.
Okay, alright.
You ready yet?
Yeah.
Cool. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Touchline Fracas. I'm your host today, Sebi. You know, not your usual host. You know, Lewis, Anton, all them man bottled it. So you know, I've come in to save the day. I'm here with SOS Pepe. How you doing, bro?
Said we don't start. Yeah, good evening. What's going on?
I'm here with Sam. How you doing, bro?
I'm gonna be humble.
Yeah.
I'm
For the first time, yeah.
I'm fine.
Alright, cool. And I'm here with Marvin. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's good, man. I guess everybody watched the Spurs and City game.
Yeah.
Cool. That.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool, most of it.
Alright, cool. Who wants to get into it? First.
I'll start.
Yeah.
It was a weird game because City just dominated ridiculously, but then they couldn't put away chances, and it's just like Tottenham scored twice on 3 shots on target, and it's crazy.
Yeah, and that was a bit of a weird game.
I also saw that I think Spurs has scored 4 goals in 5 shots against City. And I think City scored 2 goals in 44 shots. Yeah.
No, because it was similar. Because I
44
remember when they played each other in August, and it was exactly the same, bruv. Spurs
Yeah,
had
they
2
came-
shots
Yeah.
in that game, scored 2. They got pammed to
Yeah.
death by City. But yeah, City have just been missing bare chances, man.
And
apparently,
depends.
Huh?
Depends.
Yeah.
Depends.
Yeah,
Yeah, because obviously they don't know who takes them anymore.
Oh,
like.
it depends. I thought you said depend.
No.
What did you think about that, Pen? Because they said that Lloris was off the line and stuff like that, and VAR didn't call that.
You know, but VAR doesn't. That's like in-game decision.
Okay.
Innit?
You know Liverpool only get them ones. You know what I'm saying?
No. Whatever helps cushion the fall. I don't mind. But yeah, VAR doesn't rule.
Do in-game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a guy on that field. I think his name's Kevin De Bruyne. I want to shine some light on Kevin De Bruyne, because when things got sticky, he went middle wing, as 6ix9ine would say. He went middle, and then just started pamming crosses.
Oh, you know,
Same, man.
that Don is the king of crossing in Shalom.
We know the business model. Right?
Remember,
We know the operations of logistics.
Yeah.
We know.
We know what he's on, really.
We know.
He started shooting towards the end, man. I got frustrated, man. He was like, "Fuck the assist."
Yeah, and just started banging it.
Yeah.
But thoughts on like Pep and his like kind of in-game management, and like how do you think he got on? Because certain guys are calling him a fraud. I'm one of them. You know?
So?
Yeah. I'm
You
one
are
of them.
so shameless,
Wait,
bro.
wait,
You are so
wait,
shameless.
I'm saying certain guys are
You
calling
are
him a fraud.
so
Wait.
This is like his first season where he struggled like this.
How?
Are you supporting him?
Huh?
Are you
supporting
supporting
Pep?
Pep?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
go
a
on.
fraud.
Yeah.
Where'd you?
No, just
Wait,
I'm just hearing. That's the
It's
word.
the streets.
That's the streets
Oh,
are saying
okay.
that Pep is a fraud.
It
But
is to the curb, cool.
how do you think he kind of got on and his in-game tactics? Because you know that doesn't look like the same City side we've seen in previous years.
Mm-hmm.
The football, the quick free-flowing football. Yes, they had loads of chances, but to me, it didn't really seem.
If they were, but it comes down to clinical rather than them not playing well per se. Like they.
I can't lie. The issue today wasn't anything tactical, bro, because they
It was-
pammed
Yeah,
Tottenham.
that's what
They
I'm
think
it was
saying,
more
like, they weren't
individual-
clinical.
individual
They didn't
personnel.
take any chances, bro. They didn't
Yeah.
take any of their
Yeah.
chances.
How you
Listen, I'm
dominate
just
that
trying to run
much?
an agenda.
Seb just
Yeah,
wants that agenda.
I didn't catch the bait there.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I think it's more individual performances.
Yeah.
Because Sterling's been struggling for a while.
Like, for a minute, he's been off. For,
I know.
Wow.
I know Seb wants to run that Rashford agenda.
The streets are just saying that certain men
I'm
are
just
better
saying,
than
Gomez
saying.
picked him up once and he ain't been the same. He ain't been the same since. He ain't been the same.
Because that brother's
Check the
hiding,
numbers
he's hiding
since
behind-
that day.
he's hiding behind Van Dijk. We want to talk about them brothers.
Fair enough.
Who's had him ahead Van Dijk? Gomez.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Now,
young Joe, fam.
we'll get into
Go.
Liverpool. We'll get into Liverpool.
Oh,
but
these guys.
yeah, man. I just thought like the Spurs and City game was a really weird game,
It was.
and Jose elite shamelessness. Do you see the?
He was in his element.
Did you see, wait, did you see Son came to him for love and
Yeah,
Man was like,
no. Focus.
Focus.
I actually love that he doesn't lose. Like he's so.
Listen,
trying-
no,
he's he's in Pep's bag.
giving-
And he knew the cameras are there.
The thing is,
Who,
yeah.
Mourinho.
Yeah,
don't
bro, come on.
disrespect Uncle Ronaldo.
The thing with
We've seen
Jose,
him, bro.
the thing with Jose, yeah, is I love him when he's not on my team. Do you know what I mean? He's an elite guy to watch. Do you know what I mean? So,
But you need to remember, it's similar to Lukaku. Like, maybe it wasn't Lukaku. Maybe it was the whole team that was shit. Do you know what I'm saying? With Mourinho as well, yeah? Like, I think it was more the team than Mourinho.
No, don't get me wrong.
You
don't
can't come and defend Mourinho in
Don't get me
2020.
wrong.
Yeah,
nah.
but
I'm ready to.
New decade. We're
Pa-
carrying
partially,
this.
partially.
Wait, 1 second. Don't get me wrong. Regarding Mourinho, obviously, you know, yeah, the team didn't help. But his tactics, some of these tactics.
Can't debate that. Can't debate that. I won't debate that. I can't debate that.
There's
Low block and inshallah. That's it.
Spurs play where he played like 6 in the
Uncle, I
back.
tried to help you. I can't.
Liverpool.
Oh yeah, Liverpool.
Help
bro.
you.
Sit down.
Playing 6 in the
6
back
in
the
the
other
back,
week,
fam.
man.
And the thing
centre-backs,
is,
fam.
it went their way today, innit? Like, but if City had scored early, it would have been a bloodbath.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? So,
And I think psychologically, I think there's a thing with Tottenham City now.
Yeah.
Because of the whole Champions League thing and even the earlier game in the season, I just don't think psychologically they're ready for these kind of games anymore. The Tottenham one. It's like the Liverpool way.
I was gonna.
how they've just
But even when Spurs played Liverpool, it was similar tactics, and they could have, if they were
could have got a
clinical,
result, yeah.
they could have got a result. And I remember that setup. I remember people saying it was like he got the tactics all wrong, etc. And I was saying, well, that was the game plan, and if they were actually clinical, they would have got something out of it. And same with City as well. It's just when
'cause
people
the
look at
second
the
half.
end result, they forget kind of what.
But and
the
also,
second half against you guys,
and
they
also,
pounced.
and also in game as
Chill,
well.
chill.
As
They
a
did,
fan,
they did, you know.
like if I'm a fan of that team in game, it's brutal to watch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When your team is just dropping
Hanging
back,
on.
like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
I guess I'm looking at it from a neutral. So
yeah. And you're looking at it from a privileged point.
Yeah.
You're privileged, isn't it? So
What would you say if those are like the only resources he had to operate with? Like if he, because everyone's on this expansive football kind of flex, but if he played like that, say United or with Tottenham today, and they got pammed out of control,
yeah,
and
but
it's like-
but it's one of those things, man. It's like, for me, I just don't feel like you can win the league now being Jose Mourinho.
Pragmatic.
No.
Yeah, pragmatic.
And-
Yeah,
and-
it's not, that's why even me, I love Fergie. I just don't think he'd do well in this league right
Also,
now.
what you need to remember as well, that the way Mourinho is, that is cool for 1 or 2 games. That's not sustainable over a long period of time. That's why you see with Mourinho, he always crashes in his first season. 1, people get tired of his methods. 2, it's very easy to eventually. That's why Mourinho always struggles in small games as well, bro. Do you know what I mean?
I was
Because
gonna say,
his
I
teams
think
can't
it-
open up anyone
I
like.
think it worked before because teams were a lot more. They weren't as aggressive. The smaller teams, but you know
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
one they
Every
got
team
money.
believes-
Yeah,
they believe they
they've
can
got
win, they can
money,
win.
they've got quality now, and they
Belief.
They all believe attack is the best form of defense.
100%.
Like Bournemouth came smoky.
Fam. Every team is on
Sheffield,
it.
all of
Sheffield
them,
Sheffield United
come
they've been
in
balling out,
ready.
though.
And they've all learnt because I think the previous seasons, like way back, all the teams that were promoted, all they thought about was surviving.
Just surviving.
No, but we had a
and
good
nick
one,
up
like, remember when
point.
Blackpool came?
Yeah, but
And
that's
then they were like-
exactly.
Yeah,
but
but
that
that
was
was
an
an
anomaly.
anomaly,
Yeah, that was
Swansea?
an anomaly.
Yeah, again, another anomaly.
Yeah,
Man. No, it's just those
and
two
you're
teams
still
that came.
picking one. Now we're talking 3 teams
Teams
promoted.
coming up.
How many
They
will
wanna
stay
ball.
up? How many will
Yeah.
stay up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I
all
think,
try
but
to ball.
do you think they're coming up in better conditions now? Because the way Sheffield got promoted,
I think the gap between the Championship and the Prem isn't as big as it was before
I
because
agree.
there's quality players that I
There's
even
bare
say
quality
myself,
players in the
agree.
I
Champions
say
I
I can
agree.
bring them to
I
my team.
agree.
Like people
I
laugh
agree.
and say, you buy players from the Champions. I will bring. There's so many players.
100%.
in the
Leeds
Championship.
right now,
There's
yeah.
about 3-4
Madison came
players.
from the Championship.
Exactly.
from
That'll
Norwich.
take- that'll
There's
take-
Eze at QPR.
QPR.
There's Ben Rama at Brentford.
Brentford,
Calvin
Calvin
Leeds.
yeah.
There's bare ballers that would do a job in the Prem right now,
Definitely.
100%.
what's they fighting from now, man?
Do you know?
Wolves just
I
signed
think.
somebody.
I think one of the reasons why as well is I actually think it's because of the spending power in the Premier League now. You see, all them players in the Championship, they would have been in the Premier League if there wasn't so much money for them to go out and buy these big
Yeah,
players.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now all these players that would have been squad players for the Premier
Prem
League,
teams.
instead they're
Yeah,
playing in the
leading
Championship.
championship
Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
That's it's true, man. So moving on from City, Spurs, SOS Pepe, we're gonna talk about Arsenal, man. Let's talk about Arsenal, man. So talk to me about your team, bro.
Nah, do you know what? Today was like the first time under Arteta that I was feeling like I wasn't really happy.
1
with
winning
what
8.
I was seeing.
Let the streets know, please.
No. The thing is, most Arsenal fans acknowledge that it's not right now. It's about the process rather than results in it. So
How's the process going?
the process is it's all
let me-
let me land, bro. You support Chelsea because we'll come on to you, man, as well. No. So the first things first. Today was the first time I questioned the lineup in it because basically, Lacazette. I have to chuck that brother under the bus, bro. Bro, that brother's played over a year without scoring a goal away from home.
Wait, so
you accept
because I've been saying he's Europa League
Bro,
quality striker.
he's trash, bro.
He's
Get him out, bro.
Europa
Get him
League
out.
quality striker.
Ozil hasn't had an assist away from home in
Wow.
over 2 years.
Oh,
So-
2 years now.
Yeah.
What?
It's terrible.
Jesus Christ.
Terrible.
Wow.
So for me, one of the things I need to see Arteta start to drop the underperforming older players. I don't even mind playing the young players, even if they make mistakes. However, it's about building towards next season. Arsenal aren't going to get top 4. So really and truthfully, I want Arsenal to focus on the Europa in it. We need to be in Europe by a hook or by crook in some way next season, bro. Because boy,
Would you want
Arsenal are
Europa
broke. Huh?
Would you?
It brings in revenue. I in an ideal world, I wouldn't want Arsenal to be there. But right now, Arsenal have a growing wage bill. We have a lot of older players, and our commercial deals have been so bad for a long time that we have reduced revenue. So we have no money to buy players. So we're just spending more and more, but we're not in any sort of form of Europe. So that's why even Europe, it brings in a little bit as well.
But
So
don't you
I
think the
disagree
compensation
with
with
you.
the
Don't
games?
have. I think with owners like yours, you don't have money to. Because when we look at
No.
teams below you,
yeah.
and the like, I just don't like when you look at the numbers. I don't get how Arsenal. And you look at their net spend, I don't get how Arsenal.
What do you
can-
mean? You don't get it?
wages as
No,
well.
you don't. It's the wages. So since Arsenal haven't been in the Champions League since 2016. So since then, we have been spending a lot more. We haven't been bringing in money commercially.
making a lot less.
Do you know how much money you get in from being in the Champions League, bro? Arsenal haven't had that.
Just group
We-
stage.
But
we-
it's not as big of a factor now with the new TV rights.
No, yeah, but what I'm saying as well is that we can't afford. We paid Ozil. That winter we paid Ozil 350k. We also brought Mkhitaryan in on 200k. We brought Aubameyang in on 200k. Aubameyang's the only one who's justified that spend in terms of that sort of outlay. Ozil hasn't justified that. Mkhitaryan hasn't justified that. Lacazette we bought 6 months prior on around similar wages as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Arsenal have been spending a lot of money, and they haven't seen that just return in terms of where they are in Europe. Do you know what I mean? So to be able to spend that much and continue spending that much, you need to be in the Champions League, and we haven't. So which is why we're now in a position where we're
your
going to
wage
have to-
bill is high, but
our
you
wage-
haven't spent. You haven't. Really
Arsenal, what do you mean?
spent
No, they've been spending.
Arsenal
They've
been
been
spending.
spending
Arsenal,
Yeah. No. But when you look at the period of time in which they
in
haven't
the last
been in Champions League.
in the last 3 years, Arsenal spent like over 200 million pounds.
Yeah, and
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Wait,
Bro,
who
boys.
you sold?
What do you mean?
Boys.
It's not about selling.
No,
We've
no,
been
I'm
buying.
saying, no, I'm saying
We've not sold anyone.
No, that's
bro.
what I'm saying.
They'll not
I'm
be selling
saying,
anyone,
That's
no.
what I'm saying.
like
So we're not selling. We're not making any money. But we're spending.
yeah.
Pepe 70,
Pepe 70.
45.
Lacazette was 50. Aubameyang was 60.
Aubameyang
So
60.
that's what- Arsenal have been spending a lot of money. Like obviously, Aubameyang was the only one you could say, all right, he's justified his fee. Blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? The others, they have.
Even though he missed that chance.
Yeah,
But
we
we'll go.
move.
No, keep going. Keep cooking.
No. But generally speaking,
Man,
yeah.
just deep-
But generally speaking, Arsenal have been spending a lot, and we haven't seen the return. So unfortunately,
You lot have actually been useless.
and the thing is,
you know.
and that's what I'm saying. Our recruitment
I
has
thought
been,
they had the best window, you know.
our recruitment
Last-
has been poor, and we're athletically, Arsenal aren't fit to compete with the rest of the sides. We're very slow. We have no dribblers in our team. Do you know what I mean? Compared to everyone else,
What
bro.
about Pepe?
Pepe's the only one, bro. But boy, anyway.
What do you think about the game, though? The Burnley game. Let's
Yeah,
go
no,
on to
no,
the game.
yeah,
What do
yeah,
you
so-
think about him? What
so-
do you think about the Burnley game?
The Burnley game, I thought first 20-25, we were all right. We actually got in behind him a couple times. Lacazette, by me as usual, didn't take any chances. Aubameyang, uncharacteristically, unfortunately, didn't take his chance as well. And after that, even Arteta said after the match, we just started giving away like BT fouls. And you know, with Burnley, like you're gonna have to fight a lot with the long balls, second balls. They do a lot of crossing
50-50, so
crossing
all
in
of them.
Shalar as well, bro. So if you can't, and to be honest. Funnily enough, one of the best things under Arteta, Arsenal have actually been quite solid defensively. It's actually going forward, we haven't been as good. So we were under a lot of pressure, to be honest. In between like the 30th and like the 70th minute, they were peppering us, bro. I don't know how we did
Wasn't
that.
much of the game, fam.
Yeah, so they had a lot of the game. They had one
they were
which
really
They were on top, man.
Fam, I don't know how James Rodriguez
How did he
smash
miss?
a banger versus us. But when it comes to you 3 yards out, Man's hit the
bar,
crossbar.
hit the
He
crossbar.
he even had the
Yeah,
temerity.
I didn't see the game.
He had the temerity to even appeal
hit the crossbar
when he
down.
should have been pounding it in
so,
straight.
So he had a chance which volley hit the bar, it came down, it didn't actually go over. So
Some of the ball went, but it didn't.
Nah, yeah, well,
Yeah, it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, you man's
And
are
then to be
scraping
honest,
these drawers.
so
innit?
unfortunately, we didn't create much. Like I just don't like. I didn't really like the setup today. We basically had 3 strikers on the pitch, but not enough creativity.
No one in
There was,
behind.
there was no dribblers.
Oh, he also was playing.
Aye, brother, you know me. I've loved Ozil for years, bro. But I've been saying for brother, he's done in it. Do you know what I mean? You've got to get rid in it. So hopefully, and that's hampering us, bro. Man, are paying him 350k a week, bro.
That's
so
like-
brazy.
And there's
That's like,
No, but they were trying
to
to-
3 good players right there. And
it's
wages.
what I'm saying. So hopefully,
What's Minamino on?
huh?
What's
Huh?
Minamino on?
I don't know.
Like 50
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
so- but yeah, but basically we need a good recruitment process in the summer. I'm not really confident because we're run by
Rayo's knock.
Aye, bro.
Different knock.
What? What's that?
You see,
That's what Arsenal fans say. They say Rayo.
Oh, when he comes calling.
His knock
Bruv.
is a different knock.
I don't want him to knock no more, bro. he's a criminal, bro. Nah, but basically because he has all these links with like super agents in it, so that's how we're getting. Because we bought in like Pablo Mari and what's it,
Jesus
Cedric.
Christ.
Those signings were poor, bro. But like I said, that's further evidence Arsenal have no money, bro. Because we had to do loans, bro. So yeah, in January
I
as
swear
well.
when that Brazilian guy was coming, there was some discrepancy with the fee and that. Like Arsenal tried to bump it last minute.
Which
So
was
no. Yes. So basically, they said that they wanted a permanent in it, but so they said apparently Arsenal promised them a permanent.
Yeah.
And when you got to London, Arsenal said, no, it's
Nah.
only a loan thing, innit? But yeah, but like I said, Arsenal are broke, bro.
You know
Arsenal
what?
don't
You
have
know
fee
what?
like that, bro.
I'm always skeptical about like Arsenal not having money because of the long period where they just kept saying they didn't have money. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but
but
they-
it was.
I think it changed.
No,
over
yeah.
time.
So we didn't spend money, but because of like at that time, due to we didn't spend money because of FFP. So we were building up our assets, but it didn't
The
amount.
stadium
It
is
didn't amount to
It
anything, bro.
was all a front because the
money was there. I just think the owners were just not pumping
he's
in funds.
He's a
He's got big
businessman.
peas.
He's a
Yeah,
businessman.
mad
of
peas.
course.
So yeah, so
He's
exactly.
Richard Abramovich.
So the spending
Cro-
isn't
Kroenke's-
down to like improving performances. It's down to balancing.
No.
the book. Like, it's
And
a
to be
business
honest,
to him.
I can't even moan about money. Like I said, in the last 3 years, Arsenal spent a lot of money. It's
No,
just-
that's why
it's
I get it,
just not been spent well.
Yeah.
But like I said, generally I'm happy with the manager. Today was the first day I wasn't really happy with like his tactics and his setup. So hopefully he can address it next time. But he needs to start dropping certain man in it. So, but
Like,
yeah,
is that, innit?
Lacazette and Ozil need to be dropped. Yeah. So,
Cool. We're gonna quickly touch on Man United.
boy.
Nah, it's a quick one. It's gonna be a quick one because we're recorded tomorrow, and I just need to get my agendas out of the way. But what did you guys think of like Man United's transfer window? The two
You see Big
players
Bruno,
they
innit?
brought-
What?
two players they brought in.
Who else did you? It was Bruno and who?
Eduardo.
Oh no!
I did not even forget,
I
bro.
swear to God,
no.
I thought it was trolling.
Big energy. Uncle's coming true.
I
still.
thought it was
I'm
trolling.
finished, man.
Listen,
But
do you
no,
know how many
I'm sure-
times?
yeah,
Do you know how many
you
times
guys
I cussed him during the World Cup in
Shout out
2018?
his
Oh my
agent.
Oh boy, yeah, he's really
His
finessed the team,
agent
bro.
is amazing.
Igalo, you know that brother that's like 50, bro. Oh my
Igalo.
lord, bro.
Jesus Christ,
Uncle.
but really, I just feel
If it comes on Pams now, though.
because we're recording tomorrow, I'm not gonna say too much on it, but I'm gonna speak on like Martial in it. So I'm just gonna speak on Martial. Quickly.
Let it run.
Let it
Yeah,
run.
let's
Let it
speak
run.
on Martial briefly.
Let it run.
Did
And
Igalo
then-
play?
and then we're gonna-
No.
Nah,
He flew over.
David said no medical. He says he doesn't need a medical.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they said
Yeah, he didn't do no medical.
Said they ain't doing the medical.
So man, he's
The,
pounding down, bro.
strength of the Black Panther.
Yeah, true.
Oh, you mans are bringing
So
too much joy into my life.
I'm gonna quickly
Yo.
speak on like Martial.
Oh, God.
Even though like the game in all, like the first 20 minutes was really bright. Do you know what I mean? And I thought would get a result. Bruno looked.
I was gonna say,
decent.
what are you saying about
He
it?
looks
Good,
good, he looks
touches, man. Good touches in a final third. It was weird because, like, firstly he started as a number 10, and
Moved him
Pereira and Fred were the holding midfielders, and Ollie was just looking at Pereira. Pereira might be the worst player I've ever seen, bro. Like, this guy,
United fans do not like
he
him.
must have been born in like Millwall or something, like Streatham or something, because he's not from Brazil.
It's not Brazil, bro.
Not Brazilian, bro. Like he's English or something, like, bro, because
He's been holding that passport.
Like it was so bad
God.
that like in the second half, Ollie had to drop Bruno deeper. So the guy, the highest scoring midfielder in Europe, had to drop deeper
Fucking hell,
because
to accommodate for
Pereira.
That's crazy.
But again, like he looked really, really good. It took.
I'm
him
looking
onto-
forward to seeing him
No,
play.
it took him onto like the 30th minutes to start pamming shots because he's
His
shooting
shooting
inshallah.
is nice.
He's a proper shooting inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah,
Yeah.
innit? So
I
He's
remember
got- he's
when
got a
we
good
were
strike on
linked
him,
to
though.
him, I was doing
he was
scouting.
bro.
I was scouting, so I'm
shooting-
excited for
he's
you guys.
shooting and inshallah and yeah. So he
How
took him to
much?
the
How
third-
much did he cost?
lovely,
56.
man. Nah, so 46 million up front, and then
There's
10 million in add-ons, and then another 10 million in like.
PFA players of the year and
fake add-ons. So
Ballon
you
d'Or,
know,
yeah.
Martial add-ons.
No, but here's the
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
yeah.
here's the thing. With those add-ons,
Yeah.
it's win-win because even if you pay those add-ons, that means he was worthwhile signing.
Exactly. So no, this was like
46,
I can't even lie.
rising.
I was surprised at that fee
That's so
from
good.
Man United.
Yeah, for United.
From Man United,
I'm
I
surprised.
was really surprised at that.
Because you
fee.
man normally
I'm
get bumped.
surprised.
We get bumped,
You man
and
get
then
bumped.
I kind of understood why it took all window to get that done
Yeah.
because United were probably determined not to get bumped. And Sporting like United,
But
this
they
will
were.
come in a
There was
mile
another
away.
thing coming with
Do you know what I mean?
Barca, and then the three teams.
That's fake, innit? So I'm sure like
So-
Mendes man put in like Mendes said that
Do you
Barca
know,
are coming
do you know what
through,
surprised
and
me the
they-
most about what surprises me the most about that fee is one, them knowing United's position right now.
Yes.
And two, it's January.
100%.
I'm like, you
but I
paid
think-
that amount in January.
I think Bruno may have forced it, man, because I think
he
it was
tried
the
in
game
the summer
before.
as well,
He was
innit?
trying in the
He tried in
summer,
the summer.
and in the game before,
He had like
I
a
think it was
farewell
the
thing or something.
Benfica game. I think he went up to like the chairman and said something in his ear or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So he was definitely on coming, innit? So I think that was the reason why he came. But
Back to Martial.
back to
Yeah.
back to Martial. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, Mamba mentality.
R.I.P. Kobe, bro.
You got Martial, gardening snake mentality. Garden snake. He's a garden snake, man. You know what I mean? He ain't got no mentality. The guy is whack. Bro, when it comes to Martial, yeah.
Wow.
Nah, when it comes to Martial, we got rid of Lukaku for the same thing Martial was doing yesterday. Like, it makes no sense, bro. Like, it makes no sense. The guy, every time the ball's
is he
coming
doing?
into him, he's misplacing the ball. He's messing up attacks. Like, there'll be times where, like, a player can be free, like, and he won't pass it or he'll take an extra touch. It was poor. Like, poor. And then people are saying no service. I'm not getting onto Martial. Like, I got into him from missing chances, like, I think it was the Liverpool game.
Yeah,
So I
that
got into
one.
him for that. And then the game against Burnley, I got into him for that, yeah? So 3 chances. But fair enough. If you miss chances, cool. The reason why I'm angry is because United don't create a lot. And I'm taking that frustration out on Martial because I want you to be clinical. But yesterday wasn't about missing chances. You couldn't even hold up the ball.
Build-up play.
Build-up play, couldn't even bring no one into play. Like, I see a lot of people, like, there's a running joke, everyone banters Firmino, like, full striker or whatever. We could do with a Firmino. Do you know what I mean? We could do with a Firmino.
Firmino does his job, though.
Listen,
I
I let you guys run your false agendas
Like,
on
he
Firmino.
could do his job.
You can
like-
run it all you
like-
like. We know.
Yeah, no, Firmino
know.
Firmino does his job.
How-
Like, and if Firmino was in our team, we would have looked way better. Or anybody that could hold up the ball and link up play would have looked way better.
But I'm telling
You're
you,
just
he's
missing
a,
that guy.
he's a
See when Bruno
striking
comes
cam.
and you get Pogba back. I think your midfield's gonna look good.
Hopefully, but it's just when Pogba comes back and when these players comes back. Like,
You
for
don't
me-
need Pogba.
for
Get
me,
Pereira out,
100%.
Pogba
bro.
in.
Like, listen, a midfield
King
three,
Scott.
a midfield three,
Fred,
of Bruno,
current Fred.
and Pogba. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
That's a
Do you know
good-
what
That's
I
a good
mean?
midfield.
That's 100%. We can create. We can score goals.
You got the clowns at the back though.
Oh yeah, nah, man. Respect. There's a couple
Shush.
guys that are coming back as well. Bailly's
Who you
coming
got?
back and that.
Bailly.
Like, you know me,
How many
I'm
times?
not even a Bailly fan. Like, everyone's like they got one more left. I ain't got one more left for Bailly. I ain't got one more left for
This
Bailly.
brother's been
like,
coming back for
yeah,
6 months.
Yeah, I ain't got. For me, I'm Bailly out in it. Yeah,
Why is he always
but-
injured for,
Bro,
fam?
even, you know his last
I
injury?
can't
Did you see his
lie.
last
I
injury?
didn't know you lot still had
Wait,
him
did you
out.
see his last in- did you see his last
What?
in- did you see his last injury?
No.
His last injury was
I
against
thought you
Spurs,
saw
yeah,
him.
in pre-season. Son faked a shot.
Oh my God.
He
I saw it, I
went-
saw it, I
he
saw
did-
it.
He did. No touch. He dived and his like
What?
knee was in an awkward position,
Oh,
injured.
no.
He ain't played since.
Oh,
like for me,
no.
I'm Bailly out, but I understand what he brings when he's on top form.
He's your best
Yeah,
centre.
no,
Do you know what I
he's
mean? When he's on top
solid.
form,
He
I understand
was-
what
well,
he
he
brings.
was
innit?
solid,
But
yeah.
yeah, man, we'll see about United. Obviously, tune into make United great again tomorrow. I'll be going off on Martial once again. With the stats and more content. But yeah, moving on from United, let's speak about Leicester and Chelsea. Yeah, man. Speak to me about that game.
That was a weird game to watch, man. Like it's been the theme of our season. If you wanted an advert, that's the game. We literally dominated, created a lot of chances first half. nothing was being put away. I don't know the fitness situation with Abraham, or if he was even meant to play, but like he just looked off the pace, off the boil. Like Reece James bringing him like whipping in crazy. It is what it is.
What do you think of Tammy Abraham?
I like him, but we can do better. Then we can do better than him.
Do you think he's like top level? Or?
Nah. Not like he's not clinical enough.
The smirk in your face when
Not,
you.
he's loving it.
just
I know he's loving
lining him up.
it. He's loving it.
No, he's seen how shaky you are,
Nah,
yeah, and
he-
he's loving it. He's
No,
like,
no,
let me
it's-
just.
I don't want to. I don't know.
You
I don't know.
wanna push him
I don't know. Cuss Tammy on.
Yeah, he doesn't want to push you over the edge, but he wants you as close to the edge.
I know it.
as
He was just
That's
there
why I got
enjoying
beef
it.
with Tammy,
Yeah.
It's because at the start of the season,
Yeah.
they were comparing him to my guy
talking was.
Rashford.
Yeah.
What? Rashford and Tammy Abraham?
If we take Rashford's pens out,
Are we taking a piss? What?
They're trying to compare him to
Tammy Abraham
Firmino
that's
as well.
playing every single minute and playing up top. And
But
Rashford's playing left wing. And Rashford's playing left wing.
Rashford's up top now. No.
No? Martial was playing up top.
Even if he's
Rash
not,
playing left wing.
there is a bit of a
Bro, like
difference
there's
with
a
Rashford
clear
and
gap. So
Tammy.
that was kind of annoying me. But yeah, man, speak more about Chelsea and Lampard's tactics.
Lampard. It's the same. Even Lampard had the temerity to bring up XG in one of his previous pro. Bringing up XG. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know how they do the metrics, but I'm just like, all these
I still don't know what XG means, cuz.
expected goals in the way they cap.
yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but I don't
understand
know.
it.
It's just numbers and whatever. They're just messing up. It's the eye test is most important. And the thing with the way we're trying to play now is we're trying to exploit Reece James to the fullest because his whips are ridiculous.
He's cold though.
He's
I like
cold.
Him, man.
I wanted him at United.
Best right back in England anyway. But anyhow, we do move. Anyhow, niggas are puff anyway. But yeah, so they're exploiting him in general because he does what he does. And then the link up between him and Cho on that right, it was working. But
Cho's looking a bit funny though.
nah.
No.
He had his thing with Arsenal.
What's going on? No, but what about yesterday though?
Yesterday.
You didn't, no.
I don't know what happened.
It's another fixture.
Nah, the first
Like,
fact.
is it like his injury or like he's taking a bit of
I
time
don't-
to get back into the.
I think
I
this
saw
is
last
his
season.
first.
Here's Achilles, though.
No. I
He's
think
come
it's his
back from
first run of
Achilles.
games since because he had that little spurt at the start, and then he was getting goal assist. Then he was dropped again for Pulisic, and then he's been in and out.
Oh, so
and then the
he's
fans,
got
I don't know
dropped
if
for the American youth, yeah.
we don't speak about it, brother. But anyway, the thing with that is then what's it called? The fans are starting to get onto him. I don't know if you saw an article in the Athletic, and then like,
to see.
what you saying?
No, I think I love
Man
to
said
see.
love to see. Say
Yeah,
nothing.
because they tried to compare him to Rashford as well. All of my enemies.
You know you're a wizard.
One by one.
You're a
One by
wizard.
one.
Keep speaking
Where's your
about
guy
him.
that we're even comparing him
keep
to?
speaking about him.
Where's your guy?
Rested,
Isn't
man.
he
He's in
Spud?
Miami.
He's Spuddy
He's
Meek
with
Mill.
DJ Khaled
Man, don't even know who the
and
fuck.
My
You
friend,
don't even
you
know who
don't
he
know.
is.
He's setting you up, you know.
Huh?
Don't- if you bite into his bait,
Nah,
he
nah,
has another
nah,
one
nah.
waiting for you. You don't know.
Nah.
I can
But
see.
yeah,
Look at the wickedness in his eye. Look at
I'm
the
saying,
smirk.
I know. So at least my guy's in contention for the Euros.
Barely. Did Lampard start Mount again, or what was?
Oh my god.
Hey, that you is whack, bro.
Speak to me about
nah,
Lampard.
I've spoken to him.
Whack.
I've spoken to him.
Whack.
I've spoken to him
Whack.
on Chelsea about this. Yeah, but he is an anti-10. I mean, he is more interested in defensive. His defensive responsibility is there than attacking. When they looked at his average positioning, he's more or less a second striker. He doesn't create chances. He's that, and he doesn't shoot
He's
enough.
what? He's like Dele Alli, yeah.
In
But
terms,
even
in
Dele
terms,
Alli
in
is
terms of,
scoring, bro.
huh?
But you said he's like a second striker because that's what Dele
Yeah,
Alli is.
no, but we can't compare him to Dele Alli.
Nah, but I'm asking, innit?
No. He's not like Dele Alli. You know what I'm saying? They play the same position, but your competency in that role is not the same. So like the thing with him is I just it's frustrating watching him. I think he's suffering from a little bit of burnout because he's just disgusted.
What's he done?
I was about to
nah,
say,
nah,
bro.
No. It's not. It's not on your actual output.
With youngsters, they can be quite inconsistent, especially when they're playing.
He's
big,
heavy
like,
minutes. He's almost used
Premier
player.
League Yeah, Premier
He's
League
only missed
football
one game and he
regularly.
came off the bench for that game as well. So I'm just like, he's been used too much.
Young players are not.
I don't know
like
why.
that.
I think
No,
Lampard
I know
sees.
why. I know why, because I said it at the start of the season and Chelsea fans were like, no, as you're about to say, Lampard sees himself.
Sees himself in Mount.
It doesn't matter about positioning. It's just about
Him being on the pitch.
English kid, I was in your position where people doubted me at West Ham.
Yeah.
And
Frank.
My uncle stuck with me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna stick with you because I believe I see what you did in training. I know you got quality, and that's what I feel like Lampard's season.
I know, that's exactly. That's
get dropped, you know.
He can't get dropped.
Keep playing,
It's
bro.
injury,
pay
and I've been hearing he's playing through.
good,
I'm hearing he's playing through injuries, and it's just like
That's a big thing in football, man. The same with what happened to Rash, innit? Like, I
well,
don't
Rash's
Yeah,
one was
playing
the most
through injury,
disgustingly managed one.
I think it's immoral.
How long?
Yeah,
How long
Like,
was
they're
it before he
human
came off?
beings.
Was it 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, it was horrible. He's had Rashford had an injury since
yeah.
last year in Liverpool. The Liverpool
Since
game
then?
last year, when that, I think it was his ankle or something.
Do you remember? Did you see an interview with Giggs and Rashford? They said Rashford couldn't stand.
Yeah, see.
You know what I'm saying? And this was before that game.
They see
No, I'm
these
saying,
players as
how would you-
assets, you know.
Yeah.
Like, they're just assets to them.
Yeah, they're like,
You'll be good, whatever.
Because
Solskjaer was-
they'll even ask the player, you're going to be good. Obviously, Rash is going to say, he wants to play football
exactly.
as a kid. Do you know what I mean?
You need
And
to
he's-
be responsible
It's
enough
beyond
to
kid.
to
It's just
step
like he
in
has a
and
huge
say-
responsibility as a United striker.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? It's like how they managed, obviously, basketball, but KD. What happened with him?
Yeah.
But
It's really bad gross negligence, man.
Yeah.
But
for real.
sort of stuff
Definitely,
as well,
man.
So, what about like the top four? You see
Top four.
Chelsea keeping that. What's happening? Because Lampard's comments about the transfer, obviously, he was
I
putting
think
pressure.
I don't know if you saw the last substitution he made. He bought on like
Yeah,
Barkley.
he put Barkley false
No, I'm
nine,
saying,
innit?
and you know what I'm
For
saying.
who?
That was
For who?
he
For
bought
Tammy.
Barkley false
Was
nine.
that like a
That was
Jose
a Jose.
substitution?
That was a Jose substitution.
Because Michi was on the bench, innit?
Mitchie was on the bench. He left
That's
Giroud.
something
He left
Jose would
Giroud.
do.
He
Yeah.
left Giroud at home.
100%.
That's a Giroud thing.
100%.
fam.
That's
Whole
something Jose
Mourinho-
would do.
100%.
Because he's been pamming the board out in the pressers for the whole month, and now he does this. I'm just like, it's disrespectful to Michi himself. And Mishi's not even a guy like I've said this for time. I said Michi should leave, just for the sheer disrespect he's faced at the club about how they've managed and treated him. Giroud as well, because I feel like his competency is a lot more than Lampard gives him credit for. And I think it was only to be fair, we were all frustrated at him in the West Ham game when we lost 1-0. I think when Cresswell, Giroud, yeah. Because Giroud missed a handful of a boatload of chances in that game. But it's just like people aren't even given the opportunity to shine in that capacity. We're only seeing Tammy. He's the only one who's been given a stretch in the team. So all these other strikers are not given the fair run of the bat. And Michi, when he's coming, he's done well. Obviously, it's in lesser games, but you can only play in front of the teams you're facing. So,
but in Tammy's defense, like he was playing well for like
I'm not gonna lie to
periods
you.
of time.
He was
And I
did
think
well
as
for like
I feel
a
like
month.
he's a good finisher. I feel like he's a good box striker, Tammy Abraham. But I feel like he's very clumsy.
He's very clumsy.
he's clumsy.
His feet coordination is
Yeah.
not. I feel like Michi, I somewhat prefer him at times to Tammy. I feel like he's our best finisher by far at the club. Hold up
Who's
play. I
he?
thought he's
Who's he?
Michi.
Okay.
Yeah, he's our best finisher.
Okay.
Better at hold up play. Tammy has improved over the course of. I think he was awful the first 2 to 3 months, but he's improved recently. And then the clumsiness is just bad. Michi has better feet than him. Michi can shoot either foot. So I'm just like, but Tammy fits that young persona, and I think it's the same kind of story.
And Tammy
you know what I'm
gets
saying?
goals, but Tammy gets more goals.
Tammy got goals in a very confined period of time where he looked elite for, and then it's been sporadic.
Against certain man as well. Against certain man.
And he's not a good finisher against top. That's what I'm saying. His record against the big six is one.
Was he like one?
One. It's the
But it's a
Arsenal.
thing
the Arsenal
where
game.
it's two things to look
And
at
Arsenal's
Tammy.
not-
overall.
And Arsenal, you know what I'm saying, we can't really call him.
It's one thing to look at Tammy overall and compare him to Batshuayi.
Yeah, what you saying?
Because I'm saying it's one thing to look at Tammy overall against other strikers and then compare him to Batshuayi, because he's like you can see like where he lacks against all the big strikers. But then when you compare him to Batshuayi, do you know what I'm saying? You can see why he would get picked over Batshuayi. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
I see why he's picked, but there's a lot of frailties in his game where it's like.
Same with Batshuayi though. That's what I'm saying.
What
I'm
picking
saying
is the
I
best
don't
of a
think-
bad bunch.
Yeah,
At the
that's
minute,
what I'm
that's what I'm
saying. What
saying.
I'm saying
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like you speak. Well, it sounds like you're speaking like it's an easy decision or clear. Like there is no clear gap. I don't think.
I
between
didn't
the
say
two.
it was a clear gap.
No,
I said
I know you.
Oh, okay.
You're not saying
Yeah.
that. I'm saying like what you're saying. I feel like
I'm saying Michi has strengths that Tammy doesn't. Obviously, I understand why Tammy's starting.
Cool.
Obviously, he runs a channel. He's able to like break the lines.
What
a
I'm
bit
saying
better,
is,
and the
yeah,
counters a bit
you're
easier.
speaking and for me, you're speaking in this vicious cycle where when you play Batshuayi,
Yeah.
you're then gonna, if he's not bagging, you're then gonna highlight his faults and say what
Tammy.
Tammy's good at.
Yeah.
And I'm saying because both of
That's
them are
football,
like,
bro.
yeah. I'm trying. You know, I told you I have a bad habit of being rational. I don't know why I like to make sense of things.
No, I mean
Where's
like
football?
honest.
Let's
honestly,
not make sense. Cool.
Yeah. No, I feel like
I do hear what you're saying, though.
both those strikers are trash anyway. But yeah, moving on. We're gonna speak.
They're not trash.
We're gonna
I
speak
think Tammy has a
about,
lot. Tammy has a lot of scope for improvement.
What about so last but not least, we're gonna speak on Liverpool.
I mean, if you guys want to.
Unstoppable.
I mean, stop it,
unstoppable
guys.
force.
Stop
Do
it,
you know
guys.
what? It's come to.
Hey, wait, can I
it's
tell-
come to a bit.
You
yeah,
make
where
me blush,
I've kind
guys.
of like I've actually blocked Liverpool out.
Oh, bruv, I'm tired of that.
The league stops at City.
Yeah.
We got our own team, fam.
You not got your own
Them man
mini
are the
league,
Harlem
innit?
Globetrotters. Just
Can I just say one thing? Yeah, this campaign to give Jordan Henderson the
That's a
player
joke.
of the
That's a
year
joke,
is
fam.
making me sick
It's mental.
It's
making me
anti-football. It's
sick.
anti-football.
to my stomach, bro.
Anti-football, fam.
Jordan Henderson
For what?
has been quality.
Passion merchant.
Fam, and,
I'm not-
and do you know the thing is, yeah, the last 3 games where he's like been scoring, I've been vexed, bro. Like every time I see, I'm like, bro.
For him
and
and
he's
his-
making
Stepping up.
and he's making key passes as well. I'm just getting vexed, bro.
He's even
Because
had his
he is
celebrations,
so
fam.
he is so mid.
Let me
Jordan
tell you what it
Henderson
is.
so
Let me
mid,
tell you what
bruv.
it is. Yeah, and I'll tell you what it is that in terms of how people feel, because I felt the same way. When I didn't like Jordan Henderson, yeah, it took a long time. Not just for me to like. It took a long time for me to even look at him and not be annoyed. Like I used to hate his skin fade and be like, "Why is your trim like that?" Like I just didn't like him. No, I just didn't like him.
everything about
But
him,
then with time,
See the number
I was
14,
able to
get
like
angry.
unsee what I saw in him. Do you get what I'm saying?
Wait, with
Because
what?
huh?
With what?
I was
Oh,
able
with time.
to unsee.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
with time, with
okay.
time. Because if you didn't know Jordan Henderson for who he was before, and you just started seeing him, I personally think, I'm not saying you'd say he's player of the year, but I think you guys will like give him more plaudits. But because you know who Jordan Henderson was,
No, you can appreciate him.
That's the funny thing. It's not even that.
if you're
it's
talking
not saying,
player of the year
Yeah.
agenda,
No,
I
no, no.
understand.
Listen, I can as objectively take a step back and I can see, oh, Jordan Henderson brings this to the team. He brings that to the team.
He's
To-
not
totally
mid. He's
respect
not
that.
mid.
He's mid,
He's
bro.
not.
Jordan
mid,
Henderson
fam.
is an average central midfielder, bro.
He's not.
If you were to name the top 10 central midfielders in the league, are you putting Jordan Henderson in there?
He's not even the best in your rotation.
Bro, that's what I'm saying.
Bro,
Why not?
But here's the thing.
Why
no,
not?
but
Them is
wait,
streets-
what-
streets
but
ahead of
here's
them.
the thing,
The
yeah.
thing is that no,
What-
hang
what
on.
do you
Don't-
guys
don't
Wait.
distinguish this from me
Wait.
saying that he doesn't play a valuable role in Liverpool. I get the role he plays. That doesn't mean that he's good.
what I'm saying. If you're good in your system, that's
those
good.
are 2 different things.
Yeah.
Listen, he plays a vital role in this Liverpool team.
That's yeah.
Great, fantastic.
What's the vital
However,
role?
if I was to objectively look at 10 central midfielders in this league, Jordan Henderson would not be in that top 10.
Wijnaldum, Fabinho, arguably Ox are better than him.
Look. Here's the thing, yeah. You guys aren't going to corner me into bickering over my own players, you know. I ain't gonna do that.
Your children, you don't.
I don't have a favorite. You know
don't have a
what I'm
favourite.
saying? I don't have a favorite. I love them all equally.
When the going gets tough,
You know
we
what
see
I'm
him start
saying?
pamming Hendo for him.
But again, you got do you know what it is? I get what you're saying in terms of because Fabinho, when you look at Fabinho, you know what he does like defensively, like he's a defensive midfielder. Ox, you know, attacking mid. Do you get what I'm saying? But Jordan Henderson, he just so boxed up. Like,
That's what Ox does, though.
The thing is, I'm not disputing the role he does. This
That's what I'm
is
saying.
I
He's
keep
not even
saying.
taken away
No,
from
but
him.
it's not just a role, fam. He's got the
No, because the thing is,
quality.
I've seen him play box to box for Liverpool. When Fabinho was out, I saw him play 6 in front of the back 4 as well, and he's done both roles really, really well. That does not mean, however,
that
that
means
he's one of the best central
No,
midfielders
no.
about, bro.
Alright.
He's
But
played
wait,
a
wait,
very
Where would
so-
you?
so-
Where would you put him? Where would you put him? In the league. In the league.
Okay, all I was saying is he's not mid. That's what.
Where were you putting him then? Where were we putting him in the league? He's not mid.
Oh no, we got to tally up and.
No, what's the ballpark? What's the ball? We don't have to tally anyone. Just ballpark.
Ballpark.
He's not top 10. You know
I'm
that.
just saying I can name 10 central midfielders in this league.
Off the
easily.
bat. Off the bat.
Off the bat.
Go on then.
Go on then.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
You heard me.
Alright then. KD. Alright then. Count, yeah?
Yeah.
KDB.
Yeah.
Pogba.
Bruno is better than 2.
Yeah, I'll have him Bruno.
Nah, chill.
What
chill.
you mean, bro?
Not yet.
What you
Not yet. No. Chill. Wait.
We've seen enough.
No.
BNS.
Wait, the game's rigged. I just clocked. Because wait. No. He's just gonna pick all the midfielders that bang goals in it.
No.
Jorginho's better than him.
No, I'm saying.
No, fuck off, man.
What you mean?
No, I'm not taking Jorginho.
Why?
Huh?
No,
Because Henderson's better.
I'm dead.
Because I'll take Kovacic above him, bro. Kovacic is a better midfielder.
I like
than he is.
Kovacic.
Yeah,
Oh, of
that's
course.
what I'm saying. All right, KDB, Pogba, Kovacic.
I don't play this anymore.
Bro, I haven't even got to do what I'm saying.
No, let me tell you why, yeah.
We did the timing
I
teams
think
we
my heart, yeah, makes me. Do you know what it is? Object like
Liverpool fans are not being objective here, bro.
No. It's not that. Let me tell you what it is. It's hard to like prove it on paper. Does that make sense? As in,
We've seen it, fam. It's eye test, fam.
an eye test. You've seen what he's done.
We've seen he knows his role in the system. That's what we've
Yeah.
seen.
And see to me. Okay. You don't. Okay. I get it.
I'm saying I see the role he plays.
So
for
I'm saying
Liverpool.
no one's
He
disputing
plays-
his quality
no one is
in that
disputing.
Cool.
No
That's
one-
it. That's
no
it.
one's
No.
disputing.
My job here's done.
I'm
My job here's done.
But I'm saying
My job
the
here's
man
done.
them that are better than him. That's
Cool.
what I'm saying.
That's fine. That's fine.
All right.
Oh, what about the game anyway? Let's touch on the
yeah.
game briefly. What is that?
All right. First of all, Firmino. I don't want to hear no more
No more,
Firmino stuff. Yeah. Understand.
He still don't clap goals.
This man, shut up. This man is an attacking cam. That's what he is. He's a 9.5.
But he plays as a striker.
Sure. Chill. I got chill.
The game's rigged for
Chill.
Mourinho.
Chill.
Lie.
Chill.
Caveats.
Let me tell you
He
something.
plays,
yeah?
he plays where he needs to. When I'm saying
He has a job. Yeah? He has a job. And he does it, sir. You hear me?
streets don't know what it is. But
Streets don't know where it is. All right. You're all liars. You're all liars.
How was Hendo yesterday? Did he play or?
Of course he did.
I can't even lie.
Of course
No,
he
he
did.
did well, bro.
I just like.
he got
why
really
that?
good assists for
No,
Salah.
I tell you, people need to
Did
respect
more than that, man.
Mohamed Salah, bro. That guy is a shoe.
People were saying that
Top.
it was a horrible season for
They
Salah.
are, bro.
Nah,
have
he's
you
come
seen-
up. He's come up.
Are you
No,
bro?
no.
His numbers
It's not.
consistently.
No, but
Stop it.
it's because of the benchmark he set.
Yeah, in his first
His
season.
first
His
season was
first
crazy.
season-
His first season
If
was
it was the other way around,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and
Improvement.
he would have just been amazing. Like, and people would have rated this season.
But his numbers are
But
still
he's
good.
still
Yeah, I know,
back
I
to
know.
back
Numbers are
top prem
amazing.
goal scorer. You
Yeah,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah,
so he's got back-to-back golden boots. And
know what I'm
he's
saying?
still-
And people are still
And-
disputing him. Like he's
Obviously, him and Rashford now 40.
oh stop! Look at this shame. Hide your shame.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But yeah, man. Any more on Liverpool before we get into some listeners' questions?
We saw just.
What do you
I
think
don't
of the
know
first
what
half
to
though?
say. Yeah, first half. This is where
Yeah, this is
I rate Klopp a lot. I love the fact that when we struggle with games, with breaking down teams, or when we struggle, Klopp makes changes at half time, and when we come back out,
So what change did he make at halftime?
I don't know. I'm not in the dressing room, innit?
Wait, what? So how can you say he made change?
He just yelled at them in German.
But
And
surely,
okay.
that's what I'm saying. Surely you can identify the change he made on the pitch, innit? Well, what did you see differently
was just
in
impetus
the second
or, like,
half? That
improve-
wasn't all.
Maybe
I watched the
intensity.
highlights.
that.
I'll be honest with you guys. I
I'm
don't
dead.
know,
Man
innit?
Man said he watched that.
highlights.
Yeah, bruv, it was 3 p.m. and I was out. I couldn't get the bootleg stream where I was on my phone. I was trying, but it's iPhone. They don't allow Flash Player.
It's fair enough. Man.
Cool, man.
What do you think about the pass back though and the penalty?
Oh yeah.
The pass back.
Was it Roberts?
Oh, the pass back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Oh.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be a
that's-
pen. It'll be an indirect free kick.
Yeah,
right?
it'll be an indirect
That's
free
still,
kick.
but
Yeah.
nothing was given though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
And Ings,
And then the penalty.
yeah, he was taken out.
Ings-
He was
Fabinho-
taken
Oh.
out. He was taken out.
He took out.
I
Ings,
mean,
bro. that should have been a pen.
two-
Hey,
two
listen,
penalties.
at the end
It
of
could have
the-
been 2 penalties.
At the end of the day, we know what's happening.
Well, you know what it is in Liverpool.
We know what it is.
You know what I'm saying,
No
fam?
point complaining.
No,
We know what
but
time
wait,
it is.
you can't say that when we also should have got a penalty as well.
Wait,
There was two, there was two. Fair enough.
You might have won 24 out of 25 games. Blood of Jesus.
Fucking
bro.
hell.
Yeah. But apparently it's VAR. Don't worry.
Anyway,
never seen
man.
the league this
Anyway,
dominant,
let's get into some listeners' questions before we wrap up. So RZ explains all. He says, when are we gonna actually discuss the fact that if you take away Ederson's sweeper keeping abilities, he's an average shot stopper?
That's
No,
harsh.
I don't know if I agree
That's
with that,
harsh.
man. Bro, like, because I just feel like, because City are having a tough time with it at the moment, it's like recency bias is coming into a lot of stuff in it, bro. But you can't discount what the bread has done over like the last couple of years.
I
man.
don't-
On a whole, City haven't been great this year, but I don't know if I'd be singling my man out to say that he's average, bro.
I don't like when someone, sir. I don't like when someone takes away something that's quite important and say, if not for
take
that,
away this,
then do you know what I'm saying?
If you take away
strikers
Ronaldo's
didn't score,
finishing,
like,
yeah.
Come on, like in the modern game we play, they're all playing very high up. Like a sweeper keeper.
So Nick
vital,
Pope was running out
you know
today.
what I'm saying? Vital.
And for me as well, exactly as you said, if you have
Anticipation,
at
all
least
of
something that you excel at, then you
You use
excel
it.
at, you know what I mean? You excel at that thing.
What year was that Neuer when he perfected the super keep? Was that 12, 13?
Yeah,
11? One of them. 11, 12.
No, it was really, but he's a fraud. He stayed in Germany, man.
Yeah,
I don't
obviously there's a whole other debate with that.
I don't trust
But obviously he
him,
didn't
man.
World Cup though.
I
when
don't
he came.
trust him. I don't trust that guy, man.
I mean, Diego Forlan was banging at the World Cup as well.
But he was the only one who had to hit that Jubelani, fam.
So at Flo Addy says City are currently on pace for 78 points, 20 less than last season.
Jesus Christ.
That got them third in Pep's first season. If
lot of maths.
they were on
I got
course
lost.
at
What?
least.
Wait, last season they had 80
98,
points.
98. And
Yeah.
then they're on course to get 78 this
Yeah,
year.
so they're on course to get 78. He said what this guy's not even speaking.
So a lot of
English.
maths,
Said if they were on course for at least the traditional 90-point title challenging pace, they should be on 60 points. What's he saying?
So what's the question?
He's basically saying lights on Pep. So he's basically saying
Get him the
lights on
fuck
Pep
out
or
of
something
here.
like that. Is
He's
that
a-
lights
what's
on
his
Pep?
at? Unblock
At
him.
Flo
No,
Addy or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, so if they were on course for at least the traditional 90 points, title challenging pace, they should be on 60. Oh, shut up, man. Don't worry about it.
That's not even a traditional trajectory either.
Why? What's the
For
traditional?
a title,
Yeah.
it's average around 85. It's only the last three
Yeah,
years.
85,
It's only the last 3 years where it's
88,
gone crazy.
87,
Yeah.
85, 87. It's not 90. It's not even the traditional.
I like this question.
What you
Just
got?
to say, Sir Reginald. He says, how much would each of Liverpool's key players be worth in today's market, taking everything into consideration,
Ooh.
age, etc.?
How old
Who's that?
okay, let's start with Van Dijk.
Oh,
How old is he now? He's 20.
let's start the bidding at 200.
Jesus.
200.
200 is a bit.
I think 150.
150 M.
150.
I saw Juve.
What,
put
they
in
wanna
a
bid for Van Dijk?
150.
Swear
I
down.
saw 150. Please, God.
In Jesus' name, bro.
No,
need
no,
it.
never.
I need
need
that,
it.
bro.
But why?
Yeah, no.
Nah,
But
I think we could get more than 150 for Van Dijk.
I think
Honestly,
you could as well.
But how old is he though?
He's 28 or 28 or something now. So he's
I
28.
think 150. If someone offered you 150 for Van Dijk, you've doubled your money. That's
No, hell no. What
No, you can't even think about it like that
replacing?
anymore.
Because he's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
He's irreplaceable. So you're gonna have to give me a 200.
Oh yeah, it says Juve 150 million. Yeah, he's
28.
28.
Yeah,
When-
you're
and when's his
gonna have to
birthday?
give me a
July?
200.
July,
Yeah.
What about? So who else we gonna speak?
What,
Oh,
so-
yeah. Let's go about the fullbacks as well.
Fullbacks.
Trent. Yeah, I'm saying like where
About the same.
Like 100 minimum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100
Trent,
minimum.
100
Trent,
minimum.
100 minimum.
What about Robertson?
Robertson.
I
Give
think
me like
about
80,
80.
bro.
Yeah,
Give me about 80.
It's
bro.
just
Let me
pure
not
on
even-
age,
let
on
me not
age.
even-
Because
let me
of
not
age,
even
yeah.
forget Gomez because he's sick as well.
Yeah, Gomez is
What about
bro.
Gomez?
50.
No, more than
No,
that.
60,
Gomez.
bro.
At his age, 22.
Yeah, because 22, there's best scope for
22
growth, bro.
English.
True, I'll say
22.
7. I'll say
You
7.
got
And
to
he's
pay
English.
English premium.
Ooh, English Prem.
pay
They're
English
English premium
I
Prem.
think
What,
just below
22?
Maguire, man. I think just below Maguire.
Yeah.
Like 75 or something.
75, 80.
75, I think you can get for.
Yeah.
We got Allison.
Allison's
forgot about
100.
him.
Easy.
How much did you buy him for? Because he was
67.
I love Allison, you
Do
know.
you know what? I started an agenda
100.
against Allison.
No,
because
he's
of
good.
the price. But no, I can't even.
Do you know what? You know what it is?
Can't
Yeah,
keep it up.
because I've witnessed so much shit keepers from us. Yeah, I always used to complain about the
shout
way
out
they used to
Mignolet.
parry and certain
Mignolet
things.
and
That,
Carrier.
yeah, they
Carrier.
used to
Ah,
bring
you
so
man really
much-
struggled,
fam.
boy.
Oh, I went through it. You see with Alisson, yeah, I swear to God, if you see him at home, I clap every time he catches the ball. Like he relieves pressure.
They've been
so
suffering
many
since Reina,
times. And 100 mil, the bid will start at 100 mil.
Now, you know the thing I love about Alisson, yeah, is that he never really has to make spectacular saves. It's his positioning that's just so elite, where he's just always in the right place. You never see him really have to dive too far to do stuff. I've only seen him.
Quality.
You say?
Okay, what Salah, 150.
Who goes higher, Salah or Mane?
No, Salah would. Even I prefer Mane, but Salah would.
But Salah will go more because
Yeah,
Salah.
Salah will go
I think
more.
Salah just guarantees you more
It's
goals.
colorism.
Featurism, I think.
For me, yeah, I feel Mane will be like 130 to 150, and I think Salah will be.
How old are they?
more
How old are both of
in
them?
the 200?
They're
region.
both like 26, 27 or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
roughly.
So they're both prime.
Mane's
What
26.
about the man who questioned Jordan Hendo?
Ooh.
40 mil.
Mane 27. Jordan Henderson.
What about Jordan Hendo?
40 M's, bro.
I'll say about
Is
65.
he 29? Is he 29?
Yeah.
Isn't he 29 now?
Wait. let me check
Henderson.
his
He's
age.
pushing, bruv.
Let me check his age.
Bro, man ain't paying that for Jordan Henderson.
At all, fam.
Jordan Henderson is 29.
Nah.
Take that
30,
25 M's,
30,
bro.
30.
60.
25 add-ons.
60 for
add-ons.
Hendo, cuz
I'm
England
saying
captain.
15 plus
England
adults.
captain.
I'm saying 15
Now
plus
50 to 60 for
50?
Henderson.
Wait, what are we paying for here?
Man's not paying for no attributes,
I'm
bro.
a bit on team,
Right,
fam.
run the next question.
Jesus Christ. Let me see if there's any more questions because today these guys were lacking. Any more questions?
Wait, what about Firmino? How much did you put on?
Do you know what? I like Firmino, man.
I'll give a nice 100 M.
I'll call 80 for Firmino. Cool 80.
He's hard to price, you know.
I got.
Very hard
Because
to
Yeah,
price.
he's
We
hard
don't-
to
we don't
it's hard
score
to
the
price
price
goals.
is what I'm
because he doesn't
saying.
score,
But he
But
contributes.
his role in the system,
You know
His
what?
role in this, but he's so
You know, it's
elite in
'cause
his
he's
role in the
supposed
system.
to really be a 10, and then you have a striker, but
He
put
works
him higher
for
up
Klopp.
and
Do
it
you know what I mean?
works. Put him
Because
higher
if
up
you
and it
bought
works.
him at like, see where he would go, like at club.
Yeah, 85 M's. I'll say.
Let me last question anyway. We briefly touched on this, but we didn't get into the second part.
Yeah.
So it says with media propaganda starting on Jordan Henderson being PFA
See?
Player of the Year, LOL. Who do
Hope that was
you
all
think
caps.
actually deserves to be Player of the Year?
Boy, okay.
The assist leader.
Yeah, no, so boy.
Let me hear you
I know
guys.
Rashford. Come on, man. You know-
No,
still
not
eligible?
while Van Dijk is alive.
you know what,
Is he still
you know-
eligible
Not
for
while
young
Van Dijk is
players?
alive.
Yeah,
Nah,
Yeah, he can hold that one.
Not
He can
while
hold
Van
that one.
Dijk
He
is
needs
alive.
both. He needs
Oh,
both.
So
stop
there's
it.
a few. So obviously Van Dijk, Trent would, but I'd say both of them, man, would need to roll for it.
KDB.
KDB would need to be up there.
Alisson
I tell you, obviously a left foot
Alisson
chat.
gotta
He
be
won't win
there.
it, but he's been bad all season. Jack Grealish.
I
bro.
thought you were gonna say Grealish.
Jack Grealish is so praised.
He's so
That's my guy.
greasy.
Oh,
Oh, my
bro.
days, bro.
Need Arsenal to chuck
He
the
should be
bag,
starting Euro 2020.
Bro, he should be in. I can't believe he's
I can't believe he's not capped.
Yeah.
He's not been capped,
Nah,
bro.
he will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
feel
got to
it.
kick Mount and just bring him in.
Bro, because I've been arguing
Obviously,
with Mandem.
Loftus-Cheek is coming still,
I
what I'm
said he's
saying.
better than Maddison, bro. Jack Grealish. I
He's
said,
better. He's better than
That's
Madison.
been,
I
that's been
prefer
an
him.
ongoing debate
I
with
prefer him.
Grealish and
I
Maddison.
prefer.
He's doing so much more with so less.
That's
For
what
me,
exactly.
For me,
I just think he influences so many
it's
different
more like
phases of the
it's more
game.
like a KDB versus Ozil thing for me. That's how. No, not even.
No, I get it,
Ozil.
I get it, I
Not
get it,
even
I get it,
Ozil,
I get it, I get it.
But it's like Madison in the final third.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
unreal.
yeah,
He's got a lot about him.
Yeah.
But the middle third, I feel like
Bro,
Struggles.
I just see Grealish do bare.
Just dominates,
bro.
fam.
He does. And the thing I like about Grealish as well is that he's very unique. No one really plays like him. You know, he's just got.
He's just like a street baller.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what I'm saying. And he doesn't. See KDB, yeah, because I've got an agenda against him as well, bro. He's just a robotic footballer, bro.
Chill.
I like-
Hey,
You got
need
to
to
respect
chill on
KDB though.
KDB,
you know.
man.
You see with Jack Grealish, you got bare sauce, bro. That's why man,
Saucy,
bare
man.
sauce,
And
bro.
the thing
Reminds
is,
you-
the
like
worst thing
Eze,
about-
like
the best
Eze.
thing- the best thing about Grealish is he's begging to come to Old Trafford.
Hey.
He's been twerking for it.
Yeah.
Did you see the interview?
Whole team.
There's a stadium I really love to play.
He said it. He said the same about the Emirates as well, by the way, bro.
Like, you've been saying about a lot of top clubs.
I mean, I heard he might have said that about Anfield too. So
You know, he ain't trying to run. He ain't trying to run, man. Them bleak test there, fam.
But big up the Peaky Blinders Raquel anyway, bro. That's the real guy right there.
Actually, one last question. I like this question.
I like that.
It's a bit of what I'm on. I'm on this agenda stuff. So this one says Liverpool ahead by 22 points. Why isn't the Premier League being called a Farmers League?
Ask the question
like
again.
People normally call other leagues.
no, you can't. What? Because of the quality in the quality in all the remaining teams. Yeah. Farmers League is about the teams below the winners not really worthy to compete.
And it's like, for example, see like Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're running away with the league, but
they just won the Champions League. They
just
were
won
in the finals
League.
before that.
And then also, on top of that, it's not like they're banging every team 8-0 every single game.
Exactly.
It's not like PSG when they'll go away to
Montpellier or
Bonjour.
Je vous drain them, brothers.
I beat
And then start whacking 10
this
goals.
fool.
And you just
Have you seen them highlights? Mbappe will set his break from the third, final third.
In his own
half.
But not even because of the rule.
Bro,
Like,
it
he's
makes
ahead of the last
Do you
defender
know how many
in
goals
his
I
own
see
half.
that?
One fast break, he'll come and chip the keeper now.
Bro.
Fold his arms.
Mbappe
And repeat.
2020,
That's
let's go.
that's a really shameless league. If he comes to Liverpool, I'm gonna feel sick, man.
Have you heard his interviews?
listen.
His English is there, fam.
He's been preparing.
He fell out with the coach as well. Because
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Too short. Because
Look,
Look, they're laying down all the foundations.
No. I don't know who his agent is yet, but he's telling him, listen, start the madness now. And let it marinate.
Wait, I swear,
If we get Mbappe.
I swear his deal's almost up as well.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
He just signed
Because
it.
did he resign?
No.
PSG's one.
Because he signed.
He signed in 2018.
Yeah, to 2021.
And it must have been at least 5 years. At least 5 years.
No, it was a 4 year. But they structured it like a loan. So they structured.
No.
Isn't it the first year of it was a loan?
First year was a loan.
The first year, and then he goes into the actual contract.
200 and something mil.
Okay.
I don't even know how much.
Because they got Mbappe Neymar in the same summer.
Yeah, 2022.
Yeah, 2022. But the thing I was going to say about the league, the thing I was going to say about the league difference here is that you can never call the English league a Farmers League right now because of the competency in Europe. Because all them times you're calling French leagues Farmers Leagues, them teams are not doing anything.
Even PSG are getting whacked up.
Their biggest team are getting whacked.
The best example is just looking at the Europa League final, Champions League final.
That's what I'm saying. The English teams are going further. So I think
all English Super Cup.
English teams. The issue is that the English teams are so much worse than Liverpool, rather than them just being bad teams.
No. Liverpool team is so much better.
I even like saying that shit. But you know what I'm saying?
But
anyway, however people want to phrase that shit. But anyway, that's the situation at hand. So I don't think it's that kind of situation. But yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been a good pod. Thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe and all of that stuff. Leave a review. I know Lewis and Mariah don't say that, but you know we're professional. So I'm gonna make sure you say that. Make sure you leave a 5-star review and all of that good stuff. And make sure you buy Lasso as well, man.
Buy it, bro.
Buy it, fam.
Peace, man.
Easy.
It's easy, man.